Okay, so hi everyone, this is Adina. Welcome to another episode of Teach Me. I'm really happy to start this new Teach Me series with a new goal in mind, to teach the social media professional the 3S formula for a performing social media strategy: what to stop, what to start, and what to scale on social media. This is a recorded session because sometimes it's difficult to find the right time zone. And of course, I wanted to have Neal as a guest here. Neal, hi.
Hey, Adina, I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for watching this session. Let us know in the comments where you are joining from. And if you have questions during the show, just write them down and I will answer to each of them. So my guest for today is Neal Schaffer. Neal is an authority on helping brands to transform their sales and marketing. He is the founder of digital marketing consultancy agencies, and also he served as a fractional CMO to several companies. Neal Schaffer is a teacher, speaker, and the author of 4 sales and marketing books, and he recently published The Age of Influence, which made the subject for today, influencers marketing. So Neal, let's teach the social media professionals everything about the influencer marketing, actually what we can teach them in 20 minutes or so. For starting, can you tell me in short, what is influencer marketing today?
Sure. Well, influencer marketing is a term that is often misunderstood. So, an influencer is someone that, generally speaking, they are a content creator and they have a community. The community is often a digital community in social media. Sometimes they do in-person events, but it's the idea that if we as businesses can collaborate with certain people that have influence over certain communities, that can help word of mouth and help sell more product. So that is really the heart of influence marketing, is leveraging relationships with people to help sell your product. So, and the influencer doesn't have to be a Kim Kardashian. It doesn't have to be these famous people, because even in B2B industries, a tech blogger with a very, very small following might be extremely influential in that specific industry. So it's all about who are the people that are in front of the communities that you want to engage with, and then how can you engage with these influencers. That is really the heart of influencer marketing.
Yes, and I read in your book that you said something about influencer marketing. It's more like a marriage. It's not a one night stand. So I think it's perfectly described what you said here. But how can we choose the right influencer? So, okay, we cannot have Kim to promote our products, but how can we choose the right influencer, the micro influencer, or we should go to macro influencers?
So here is where a lot of people get influencer marketing wrong, because they're caught up in these details. And I think that there's an industry behind this. There are agencies and tools that you need to have a micro influencer or a nano influencer, and it's not about that at all. So in my book, The Age of Influence, I try to say it's about brand affinity. So who already likes, knows, and trusts your brand? Those are normally your customers. The most natural people that you do not need to educate or incentivize to talk about you should be your customers. Now, 10 years ago, very few customers were on social media, but today, like, we're all on social media, right? So I always say start with, there's 2 different ways to navigate this. The first way is, okay, let's use Social Insider and other tools and try to figure out, where are those communities, who are the people that seem to be getting a lot of traction, and see how we can collaborate with them. And when we analyze these people, some are going to have more followers, some are going to have less followers. The way I like to look at it is, let's start with your customers, your followers, your fans, even your employees, people that have brand affinity with you. And a great exercise is, there are tools that you can use where if you have a database, an email list, a CRM database, even with just knowing an Instagram handle, you can convert email addresses into social media handles if they registered their social media handle using that email address, and vice versa. So you can take your CRM, your database of customers or followers, and start to see who these people are in social media, and start to say, hey, who are our followers? I did this exercise with a client. They found, they're an e-commerce company, but they found they had verified Instagram users, with 100,000, 200,000 followers that were actually their customers. And they didn't realize it. They didn't realize that they already had influencers in their customer base. Those are the people that you first want to reach out to.
Yeah. Actually, we did the same with Socialinsider. So in our first days, we look at our client names, with searching them on social media, and we create customer stories with those who have a larger followership on social media. So maybe I think we did something good in the early days, and of course we continue to do this.
Yes, and Adina, you bring up a great point, which is that most companies have already been doing this.
Yeah.
When you invite someone really famous to speak at your event or to do a webinar with you or to be on a video interview,
Yeah.
That's influencer marketing. You're tapping into someone with a bigger audience,
Yeah.
and in hopes that they're going to share that with their audience, which most people do because they're good people. But yeah, that's really the heart of what it is. You're tapping into someone that knows more people than you do.
Yeah. Today, across the internet, the experts are talking about you should encourage your employees to act as influencers on social media. My question for you is, who should be on social media? Only the C-level or everyone in the team who is maybe an extrovert and can be relaxed in front of a camera?
So let's take a look at this we're a brand and we understand the power of social media and the power of employee influencers. So we want our employees, we want them to be active on social media. First of all, we can't force anyone to do this. If they don't want to be on social media, that is their right. But within any company, there are already people that are already very active on social media, right? Those are great people to tap into to begin with because they're your early adopters. They understand how social media works. They understand how to create TikTok videos, et cetera, et cetera. But I think from a brand influence perspective, the people that have the most influence in a brand should be the CEO. And next under that should be the executive team. They are the faces or should be the faces of the company in an ideal world. The Elon Musks, the Richard Bransons, right?
Yeah.
When we start getting below that, so when you go to a client, who does the client want to meet? They probably don't want to meet a salesperson. They probably want to meet like a product person or a technology person. So I think that those technology, well, this is a B2B perspective. If it was B2C, like the designer of the earrings or who put together the perfume, whatever it is, right? Those people often are missed out because those people are often introverts when if they're out there talking on behalf of the company, there's an incredible amount of great brand building, influence building that can happen. I think once you get underneath that, you have your salespeople. It's natural for salespeople, especially in B2B, to be active and so they can actually monetize their influence in terms of sales commissions, right? And then I think you have marketers. I mean, marketers should be active. You need to understand how this works for your own company. So that would be sort of the next tier. After that, I'd say customer support should also be active. And then I think you just have the general, your general employees and you already have employees that are probably already talking about you on social media. So that's a natural place where I would start. And I know, you wanted to get to what are the problems, what are the things you should do, and then how to scale it. The way you scale this is you build a community, right? Yeah. You build a community where you share best practices. You encourage people to create content that then you can leverage as your own content. To recruit podcast guests, whatever it is. And the best way to do it, in my opinion, is not to separate internal and external, right? Is to have one program that encompasses your customer influencers. External influencers that aren't customers yet, maybe they're just followers, but you want to bring them, deeper into your circle. I think that's when it becomes really powerful and really scalable. Therefore, you're not creating like an internal program and an external program. You're bringing it all together. And that's the true way to scale, which we're talking very few companies are doing it in that way. Most companies are still just trying to create their own external program, or maybe they had an internal program that they did 5 years ago that didn't work. They're trying to do it again. But I think if you do it as one, then all of your resources can be invested in that one entity and everybody benefits. So I know I skipped ahead to the end there, but hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally get it. My question here is, do you have a recommendation how to manage this relationship? Actually, you build a community with this key influencer people that can talk about your brand, businesses, and brand and business. How can we manage the relationship with them?
Well, you nailed it. It is a relationship, right? Which is why more and more companies have an influencer relationship person. So sometimes it's PR, sometimes it's community manager, sometimes it's someone in marketing, but there needs to be a person, and that person is responsible for the strategy, the ROI. There's no doubt about it, and that person becomes the go-to person. In terms of communicating with the influencers and with that program, that's where you use things like email, right? Email marketing, and you tag them as members. You have regular sessions on Zoom. You have in person. When you go to social media marketing world, let's all get together. So it's a mix of very, very standard technologies, but you need to be able to keep in touch with people, and email and Zoom are the easiest ways to do that.
Okay, because I'm really,
and there are other platforms. Some use Facebook groups.
That's why I just wanted to tell you that other people are using Facebook group, or maybe a Slack community, a place where you can engage and invite them to ask questions and to engage to each other.
Yes, absolutely.
What brands should stop doing when it comes to influencer marketing in 2022?
I think a big mistake that a lot of brands make, well, I'd say two mistakes. One is they look at influencers as programmable ad units.
Okay.
What I mean by that is they reach out, they're going to pay money, and we want you to do this, 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 and this, and use these 5 hashtags. And make sure you have to mention this, this, and this. And the whole idea about influencers is they became influential because of their ability to create great content and engage with their community. And you're basically not leveraging a superpower, and you're asking them to do something as if it was a Facebook ad or a LinkedIn ad. So that obviously is the first no-no. But I think, on a bigger scale, it's understanding that, influencers inherently have the ability to, incite word of mouth about your brand. And I think there's just a relationship that I get, because I talk a lot about marketing technology, I have a lot of tools companies reach out to me. And they go, Neal, we'd love if you review our tool and let us know what you think. We'll give you a free 30-day trial. And I'm thinking, well, I could go to your website if I was interested and get a free 30-day trial just by registering my information. What is the benefit of me investing my time in learning more about your tool if there's no incentive to do so? And I think this is a general sort of, I won't say like a power struggle, balance of power, but if you want to build relationships, you need to invest something into it. I mean, common thing in the business world, hey, I'd love to pick your brain. Can I treat you to lunch? Right? So it really starts, you don't necessarily have to treat people to lunch or buy them Starbucks, but it starts the mentality that, these people have powers and I want to become friends with them. And therefore I'm going to approach the relationship as if I want to become friends with them, not imposing a request on them, but trying to generally getting to know them better as people, getting to know what makes them tick. Some people aren't in it for the money at all. They don't want money, right? They might want something else, right? And you're not going to know that until you develop those relationships. So instead of assuming that someone's going to do X for Y, they're going to post a tweet for a $25 Amazon gift card, take a step back and genuinely try to get to know them as people. And they may be the wrong people once you get to know them, right? I have had companies reach out to me for NFT campaigns because I posted like a tweet here and there about NFTs, but I'm not like an NFT influencer. I'm the wrong person. And after we talked, they realized that, and that's fine, right? Hey, maybe I should look more into NFTs if there's a lot of brands invested, which I'm currently doing. But that's the whole idea. You don't know until you build a relationship. So that's the big mistake, is you're not investing in the relationship. You're investing in the transaction that you want. You're not thinking about it from the other person's perspective.
And I know that in the case of promoting and speaking about marketing tools, it's better to have a personal opinion, to share your personal experience with that tool, and not spreading a message that you got from from the marketing team. It's more
authentic. It's not believable to the end user. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what else should brands stop doing?
I'd say the other thing, if I was to add a third thing, would be stop chasing vanity metrics like
Yeah,
number of followers, because these are things that can be bought literally.
yeah,
um, it's really about relevance to the community that you're trying to influence. I mean, they could
yeah,
have a lot of followers, but what we're finding is that the more followers you have, the less of a niche you own, the more
yeah,
broad you
yeah,
become, and therefore you represent a niche. That's why we hear more about micro and nano influencers, because they're very much stuck to a niche. They
yeah,
haven't bought fake followers. And although they don't have 100, they may only have 1,000 instead of 100,000 followers. Those 1,000 followers are really tightly engaged in that niche of content that that person is talking about. So another disadvantage of trying to partner with people just because they have a lot of followers is the engagement actually falls the more followers you have. Just there's loads of data that talk about
yeah,
this.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so yeah, stop chasing the follower numbers. It's all about that end community that you want to influence and who are the people that are talking about it. That seem to people are engaging with their content. They're a content creator. They have a podcast. They have a
yeah,
YouTube channel. They have a blog. And really those are the key people. And here's the thing: there aren't a lot of them. And especially when you talk about B2B, it's a very finite number of people. So
yeah,
you want to start. You want to have a very, very good impression. There was one tools company that said, "Oh, Neal, we'll give you free access to our tool. Will you consider writing a blog post about it?" So I'm like, "Sure, I'll think about it." Right. And then like 3 months later, well, we haven't seen your blog post, so we're gonna have to discontinue access to our tool. And it's like, okay, well, I'm never gonna do business with you again. And by the way, I'm never going to recommend you in any of my blog posts or recommend you to any of my clients, right? So
yeah,
you
yeah,
have to remember that influencers have influence and they have those powers, and there aren't that many of them out there. So you want to treat them, you want to really get off to a good initial start.
yeah.
First impressions are really important, and build a relationship from there.
Okay, great. How can we measure this relationship? So in the end, the businesses have to measure the ROI. How can we measure the ROI?
Well, the easiest way to measure the ROI is to leverage user generated content. So if you're paying people to create content for you,
Yeah,
whether it is someone in marketing that's using Canva or you have an agency, you can start to replace that with the content of influencers or your fans. This is user generated content that doesn't necessarily have to come from influencers, but even better if it does. So I think that is a key thing.
yeah,
The other one is for all your content marketing, aspects, including an influencer in whatever you're doing, is probably going to get you, compared to your average number of downloads, average number of leads,
yeah,
is probably going to get you more as well. Obviously, if it's B2C, we can give special codes to influencers. Now they can
yeah,
be tied to affiliate marketing. They don't have to be, that also offer discounts, and then we can really track, right, the ROI of each influencer in terms of how many leads, how many sales. So affiliate marketing is another type of influencer marketing that most brands have already been doing.
yeah,
That is influencer marketing. You're tapping into people that are able to generate clicks. So for those that are really tied to the ROI, then yes, affiliate marketing is the easiest approach. But I think that content is also key. And I think that content will outperform. Leveraging user generated content for ads has been shown to outperform the content that brands are creating. Leveraging the user generated content in your shopping cart page has shown that it actually increases conversion. So there's a lot of data behind this that shows you that there's tremendous ROI just about how you leverage what relationship you want from influencers and how you measure that success.
yeah. And I'm pretty sure that once you have a relationship with the influencer, there are other aspects that can be improved. Let's say you get better results in Google searches because more and more people are mentioning you. So your domain authority is increasing. So I think there is everyone should look at different metrics to measure this program and the way they are working with influencers.
The beautiful thing, I like
Yeah,
to say that social media replaces nothing yet complements everything. And I think it's the same with influencer marketing. You can use the same metrics you have.
yeah,
Now just compare it. Everything we talked about is measured the same way you measure without influencer marketing. But I know so many companies who aren't really good at measuring digital marketing, period, right? So influencer marketing doesn't replace all that, but you can be measuring in the same way. And it's really about, okay, we put $1,000 into Facebook ads, this is what we got. Let's put $1,000 into influencers and really compare and contrast I think you're going to see very, very different, and it's a long-term ROI. You know, imagine what is the ROI of a testimonial from an influencer in an industry that Social Insider is the best thing since sliced bread. Every time someone comes to your website, they have the potential to see that. So those are things that we need to think really holistically about ROI in this. To me, it's just a no-brainer. The ROI is there. Just the question is how you're going to measure it, and you know what you want out of that relationship.
Yeah, and I think you have right that the fact that we shouldn't expect to get immediately results. So it's a long-term process. And the results will come. Maybe it takes 1 year, 2 years. In our case, we see some results after two years of working with some influencers. Then that's why we're expanding the program right now. So yeah, expect to be a long-term and to commit to a long-term relationship here. Neal, where people can find you? I know that you are active on LinkedIn, on Twitter. I personally follow you in this community.
Oh, thank you. Well, I am Neal Schaffer, so I am the real Neal, NEALSCHAFFER. I'm everywhere in social. My website's nealschaffer.com. I have my own podcast, Your Digital Marketing Coach with Neal Schaffer. My YouTube channel finally passed 1,000 subscribers. Thank you. Yeah, I try, my business is in helping other businesses really maximize the potential for ROI in all of this digital and content influencer and social media marketing. So I have to be out there and experimenting on behalf of my clients. So that's why you'll find me everywhere.
Great. So thank you so much for being with me today and talking about influencer marketing and sharing all this stuff about how can we improve the relationship and how to create better results from this type of programs. And thank you so much for watching this show, and I will be back in 2 weeks. Thank you. Bye.